Hello everybody, hello internet, hej alla glada. Today I'm gonna show you how you can use Lightroom to create some moody street photos of your own. I like to start with lens correction, that way I know I'm working with a correct image from start. So go down to lens correction, enable remove chromatic aberration as well as enable profile corrections. I also like to double check it's the correct lens I actually shot the photo with. Next I want to do transform. I'm going to do auto. I'm not entirely happy with that, so I'm switching to guided. I'm going to use these two lines. That looks much better. After that I would like to do tone curve. Ensure you go and press point curve. That way you can actually add some points. I'm going to lift the black to around 20 and add 3 points to do a soft S-curve. I'm increasing exposure quite a bit, as well as contrast to around 60. Here's a small tip for you. If you press J on your keyboard, you are enabling clipping. That way you can see where the image is over and underexposed. I'm gonna take down highlights to around -84. Shadows I'm gonna increase to around 40. We are dropping whites to around -70 or even, let's go, 77, and I'm increasing blacks to around 40. Look at that, it's already starting to look much better and closer to what we want. I'm increasing clarity to around 20 and taking away on texture to counter that clarity. It is starting to look really good, I think, but edit is also a very subjective matter. There is no right or wrong, I think. This is just the way I would like to do this particular two type of images. If you have any feedback or comments, please leave them below, and if you haven't subscribed already, I would really appreciate it. Let's continue with the edits. I'm gonna add some blue primary saturation. Let's stop at 35, as well as some red primary saturation. I think around 35 is okay for that as well. I'm also shifting hue to more red from orange to around 40. Now we are ready to go to HSL sliders, or hue, saturation and luminance. I'm starting with hue, so 10, 30, 70. Gonna decrease blue to around 40, increasing purple around 70 and magenta to around 70. This is shifting purple and magenta hues in the image to reds. That's also why we are taking orange into more red and red to more red. As we're doing a red blackish type of feel to this photo, I'm actually gonna take away all the colors from magenta, purple, blue, aqua, green and yellow. I'm increasing red to around +15 and I'm gonna step down on orange to around -40. Then I'm actually gonna come back a little bit on blue, I think -90, and a little bit of aqua. The final adjustment is to luminance. I'm adding a touch of red, touch of orange, taking away a little bit of yellow. I need to decrease some blue, I think, and taking away a little bit of magenta. Before we do the final touch-ups, I would like to add some color grading to this one. I'm thinking some blue tint to shadow and highlights. So let's start with shadows. I'm thinking a dark blue. I think around 250 is going to be a nice color, and we're adding just a slight of blue tint to the shadows. If we increase this, you see where the blue is happening. So I think around 10 is going to be good. I'm going to highlights, and I want a light blue, almost aqua type of color. So I think hue to 10. I think around 10 is going to be okay. It's the final touch-up details. We need to crop the image as well as adding some vignette. I will start with the crop first. So crop overlay, Let's go into Instagram, so 4x5. I want this in the center of the image, so I think this is gonna be good. I have a lot of leading lines. This is the lightest part of the image, that's where the eye's gonna automatically be drawn to. This is starting to look really good. Let's add a little bit of vignetting to help draw the eyes into the center of the image. I like to add way too much vignetting so I can easier see where I would want to have my midpoint. Then I'm adding roundness 100, feather 100. Then I'm just stepping back on the vignette effect until I'm happy. I think that looks really good. We also want to add some sharpening. If we hit Alt on our keyboard, we can see where the masking is happening. So I think around 60 for this image. As this image is going to be hit by the Instagram compression algorithm, we need to add more sharpening. So 120 I think is gonna go look good. I'm also adding a little bit of noise reduction. 20 looks good. We actually have one final touch left to do, and I actually left vibrance and saturation to the last. I'm gonna add, I think, 20 in vibrance. For the purpose of this image and my personal preferences, I think it's way too saturated, but that's also why I like to add saturation last, because by doing this last, I can have full control. I can even go black and white if I like. So I think that around -30 is gonna give the effect we are after. Desaturated, red, black, monochromatic type of moody street photography. I'm gonna leave exposure. I think it looks good. But contrast around, I think 40 for that punch we need. To counter that, I'm taking away highlights and white to around 50. We are increasing shadows and blacks to around 30. I'm gonna add around 25, looks good in clarity, and I'm counter that with decreasing texture. On this image, I'm also gonna do the same, increasing under calibration, saturation in blue primaries. I'm also shifting hue more to aqua. I'm gonna leave the rest. We're going back up to hue, saturation, and luminance. This is very sunny and warm, but I wanted moody. So we are deleting saturation, yellow, green, aqua, blue, purple, and magenta. I'm gonna step down a little bit on red and bring down oranges to around 40, looks good. Then I'm going to hue, decreasing red, -10, orange, I think -27 looks good, and I'm decreasing yellow quite a bit. I think -68 looks good. I also want to step down on blue, so I think -50. Finally, we have luminous. I'm leaving red in this one, but I'm increasing orange around 10 and decreasing yellow -13. And we're also decreasing blue -22. I would want to add a split toning to this as well. So color grading, shadow, 250, saturation, 30, highlights, 210, 9, saturation, 30. So if we click here, before, after, it adds this cold blue tint to the image. I think it looks good. Now we're adding vibrance and saturation. So I usually add vibrance in most of my images. I think +18. I'm decreasing saturation to around 30. And we are almost done, but this doesn't look at all as the image I previewed. And the reason for that is we are adding quite a bit of vignettes to darken everything but the center of the image. Just as before, I'm adding way too much vignette so I can control the midpoint. I actually think that looks good. Then I'm adding roundness, feather, and decreasing the amount till I'm happy. -58. There are two minor things I would like to change on this image. I think we lost a little bit of focus on this one, as well as too much color distracting on the flare on the cheek. So to counter that, we are gonna add a radial filter. And I'm actually gonna increase exposure about half a stop, and I'm inverting it. That way I'm just adding it inside this circle. Then I'm adding a small radial filter on this one, and I'm actually just gonna desaturate it. And I'm inverting it. There. I like the flare, but it's too prominent. This looks much better. Last part is cropping. So we're cropping for Instagram, so 4x5. And I'm actually very happy where this ended up. Rule of third, we have this nice diagonal line of focus. So, and we're done. I really recommend here, I think. I recommend the street pub photography I did from Central Gothenburg, where I actually took these 2 images. Please subscribe, please leave a comment, and see you next time. Bye.